What's up, guys and gals? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys the latest episode review of Dr. Stone. Now, this is episode 21, and I enjoyed it. I really liked it because I think this was the first time. I'm not really going to go over this in a usual format, honestly, because this is an episode I think you just need to experience, just need to watch. Pretty much, they decide to continue their... Its pacing is much different from when we were making the sulfur drug. We are now onto a more like time-based boom, boom, boom. We see people doing it. We see time lapses in this episode. There's a lot of that going on. So there's not really a whole lot to talk about. They prepare for fighting. They prepare for winter. They, in general, they have the Spartan Crafting Club ever since they made the water wheel. Now they have hydroelectric power. They're trying to utilize it properly. There's a very nice scene where we have the lighting of a Christmas tree, decorative lighting, and that's really nice, you know, because we see the nice big tree and everything, and it's all sunshine and rainbows, right? But here's where the kicker in lies, and this is the one thing I want to talk about. This should be a pretty short review because it's the one major thing of this episode that should be discussed. Senku was at his wit's end. Senku, for all intents and purposes, gave up. He decided that cell phones weren't possible. And then he just decided to move on. Like, they spent months making they made the light bulb, and then they were going to make a vacuum tube, and they were going to make the filament, and they were going to make everything, right? And he continued to try and try and try. And after he figured out this flaw and that flaw and the other flaw, once the bamboo instantly broke, that's when Senku, his basically his tenacity, all his effort, all his willpower, kind of snapped for a moment with that one bamboo string. That was the catalyst for him to basically say, I honestly don't think we can do this. If I can't make this work and I can't use it with bamboo, there's nothing in this stone world that I can use, that I can figure out, that I can materialize to replace it. And if I can't make this, the roadmap is finished. I cannot make cell phones. So this whole episode was a huge development of character for Senku. It's the first time we've seen him actually give up, or not have a contingency plan, or not have a plan on top of a plan, or a plan B, C, D, E. This was, I give up, and we even see him state this. He gets depressed for about a night, and then he decides, he actually gives up on the cell phone plan. He sits back, he goes, alright, no time to be bummed out. If I can't make cell phones, I can't make cell phones. I have to move on and figure out something else. So Senku's character won't allow him to stay in an emotional state. We've already understood that about him. But it was almost refreshing in a frustrating way to see him grit his teeth and give up and be like, God damn it, I can't make this work. Like, that's how frustrated. Seeing Senku frustrated out of everyone is probably the most frustrating for us, the audience, because we always think Senku's got some type of crazy answer, some way of making cell phones in the stone world, you know. But at this point, maybe he reached a little too far. Making antibiotics is one thing, but maybe making cell phones and jumping thousands of years is maybe a little too much for right now, where they just got past man-made power. They just made hydroelectric power, and he's trying to make a cell phone. Like, it's just the amount of intelligence, wisdom, and the amount of hard work and stuff that it would take is nigh impossible, but he's never faltered, and here we actually see Senku falter. And that, to me, is the highlight of this episode. This could basically just be, this episode review could simply be a discussion on Senku's mental state during this episode. That's the one key thing that matters. Yeah, there's other things that go on, but that's what really matters here. That's the key thing that matters, is that he didn't give up on winning the battle and winning the war and all that, but he actually gave up on cell phones relatively quickly. And for Senku to give up that fast was, you could tell, this showcases that he is under a lot of pressure, that he is under a lot of stress. He doesn't show it a lot of the time, but he doesn't have the luxury of time on his side. If that were the case, if Senku, if he was just making cell phones for fun, like making them for Taiju or something, right? Then he wouldn't actually be so frustrated. But he is, because this was his key. This was his strategy against Tsukasa, and without it, things are looking more south, and he doesn't want to accept that. So, but in the end of the episode, what do we get? In the true end of the episode, we get Senku finding out about, they basically found, I don't know how to say it, Celiac or something like that. Celiac. It's basically the metal that forms the alloy of tungsten. I'm terrible at pronouncing it. Always have been. I don't know how to say that word. It's one of the hardest, if not the hardest metals in the world, known metals. It is extremely durable, extremely strong, and it's been used in so many things that we wouldn't even comprehend how many of our day-to-day devices and machines and everything actually utilize this very powerful, strong metal. And it's showcased. It's a very nice moment with the rock and everything. Sugiya was like, I'm not going to give up. Everybody tried to help Senku by realizing, okay, well, we need to pitch in. We need to help. And they tried to look through all the things that they had, all the materials, will this work? Will that work? Will this work? And Sugiya is the one who stayed up all night trying to find the one thing that would help, and it happened to be this. When the ultraviolet light hit it, they were waking up for New Year's Eve or New Year's Day sort of idea, and and she was holding the rock. Of course, the ultraviolet light hit it and shined blue and everything. Senku automatically realized what it was, explains it, and he's like, this is the thing that we can make this work. And then they developed the idea of the Spelunker team between Magma, Chrome, and Senku. They're going to go and dig for more, and they are going to make this happen. So the cell phone dream is not dead. It was a pretty, I found it a pace-wise, a very slow-paced episode, but a very nice, simple time-lapse episode, basically saying, we're working on stuff, things are going on, but no real action happens. And, in a day-to-day life, right now, where Tsukasa and Senku aren't going to be fighting each other yet, that's what it would really be in real life. So I didn't mind the pacing. I thought it was it was a slower episode, but it wasn't a bad episode by any stretch. Really, I think the highlight, once again, was Senku and his frustration in this episode at his own inability to actually be the wizard that solves all the problems with magic, but as far as everybody else is concerned, with his sorcery, with his science, he wasn't able to make this one happen on his own. But once again, this showcases, we get a lot of shots of Kasaki and Chrome in this episode as well. Kasaki is the reason that a lot of this is even possible. Chrome's material gathering is another reason, and Senku's brains are the other. Senku realizes, I think, that he can't do this alone, but the fact of the matter is that right here, he had given up when somebody else found the answer for him. So it's really nice to see that. It's a character building for Senku, and I'm just excited to be watching episode 22. So, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, guys. This has been Griever with your Dr. Stone episode review. Don't forget to hit the bell notification or join my Discord if you guys want to know every single time I drop a video. The link to the Discord will be down in the box below. Hope you guys are having a great week, and we'll see you back here next time. Peace out.